Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with the recovering Democrat, Donovan Sadiq. I know it sounded like I was going to call him something else, but I really did get tongue-tied. So anyway, this is the Demetra K show. It's actually the Demetra K podcast as well, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can also always do better. So sitting here is my partner in crime, Donovan Sadiq, and we are going to be talking about just Black people in general, Black men and women, I should say, sticking together. Now, I have been on the World Wide Web, especially after the death of Kevin Samuels, the unfortunate, untimely death of Kevin Samuels. And I've seen a lot of people come out of the woodworks with, their own little messages, and some of them trying to hijack the message of Kevin Samuels. And of course, we'll get into it. But I'll get into why I'm really here in just a minute. But I want to give Donovan a chance to say what up.
All right, you guys, what up? Welcome to the Demetra K podcast. A lot of good stuff going to be happening in this conversation. So if you're sitting in the car and you in traffic, you have nothing to do, just go ahead and hit that podcast broadcast button. And we're on all kinds of platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, all of them. You name it, we're there. But also do us a favor: if you're watching the video cast, please hit that like and share button, and even become a member. A lot of good information going out there. The Democrats are still in trouble. A lot of stuff going on. So the Kevin Samuels thing, tomorrow's the funeral, I believe. So I will be tuning into that. And like I said, you've got some people out here who just don't have anything good to say about Kevin Samuels. And it's sad when a person dies and people don't realize the ultimate redemption for anybody is death.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'll put up exactly what it is I am referring to. So as I said, I was on YouTube, actually, and there's a gentleman by the name of Dennis Sperling, and I guess he is an attorney out here in Houston. It sounds like he's also a good friend, or was, I should say, of that of Kevin Samuels. And so lately, he seems like he has been kind of going, continuing the message, if you will, of Kevin Samuels, and he has been defending Kevin against a lot of allegations that's gone out, including that he was broke, the GoFundMe, and
rightly so.
Yeah, different things about the young lady that he was with and all that. I don't want to get into any of that kind of stuff. But what I find disturbing is a lot of people are starting to really ramp up the division of Black people. So let me get to this one.
Absolutely.
So I'm not really sure who this person is, but it looks like it was a comment maybe left on his YouTube. It looks like a YouTube comment. And it says, I think Black women who witness the distasteful actions of their fellow Black women who don't agree with the nonsense have a clear understanding that the actions of others have hurt them in the public eye. And a lot of Black men are gone and not coming back. If the women in the community have no respect for their men, the whole world has, I think it meant, taken notice, which other people in different countries and the U.S. already knew.
All right. Say it again, brother. Say it again.
So this particular comment is basically admonishing Black women for not, and I'm just trying to piece it together here, admonishing other Black women for not holding other Black women accountable who may be acting distasteful, as they said, in their eyes, right? And distasteful is open to the eyes of the beholder, if you ask me, sure, right? Because distasteful to one person may not be that to the other. So this person is saying that we as Black women need to hold other Black women accountable for their distasteful actions. Otherwise, you as Black men are out of here, right? You're gone. And I guess out of here means that you're going to start dating other women from other races, okay? Now, my response to this comment was this. Surely Kevin is somewhere shaking his head at all of the men trying to duplicate his work. Your post screams pandering. You're trying to divide the community by using the clout of Kevin. But guess what? There'll always be Black men that desire Black women and vice versa. For those of you guys who are a little slow, that means that Black women will also desire Black men, okay?
Amen.
I seriously can't wait for Black people to wake up and shun the likes of you, Cynthia G., Tommy Sotomayor, Tanya TKO, and the rest of you who think you have the power to separate us. Marcus Garvey says, some of y'all need to be left behind. Y'all are no better than the degenerate black men and black women y'all talk about.
Amen.
And that was, yes, that was my response to the comment that I just read to y'all that Dennis Sperling put up. So he put it up, and he, if y'all notice, there was, I put it up so y'all don't think I'm lying on the man. If y'all notice, at the bottom you see a hearted, he liked it. So that's when you're on YouTube and you have a platform, you have the ability to give a person a heart that lets them know that you, as a content creator, liked what they said. Okay, so he liked it. So I'm assuming that he is in agreement with that comment that black women need to start holding other black women accountable. Otherwise, black men are going to take off and go elsewhere. Okay, so we're going to have a conversation about that. And as I said, those people, because people have asked me to call out Cynthia G, Tanya TKO, and all of them. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm not a big fan of none of those people. None of them at all, because I am a Pan-Africanist, and that I believe that we as black people around the diaspora, we need each other. Okay. And I also believe that black men and women, especially in America, need each other, because we are at the bottom of the totem pole and everything you can think of. And the last thing we need is for black men and women who are dead. Yes, I said it. Dead in your thinking. Last thing we need is for y'all to think that you have the power to dictate what black men and black women do. I tell you what, you only have the power to dictate who you want to date and the people who follow you. And I'm talking to the detractors on both sides that are trying to separate black men and women. Y'all only have the power to dictate the people who are slow enough to follow you. But at the end of the day, there are black men and black women who want to be together, whether you like it or not. Oftentimes, we take our own personal experiences with the opposite sex, and let's say you've only dated black men or black women, and you try to pass that off as gospel for everyone else. Well, that's not true. So we're going to have a conversation about the statement and what we as black men and women need to continue to do to make sure that we stay together. And I'm speaking to those of us, and there's a lot of us that are interested in each other, and not all this bullcaca that these people who are doing it for clout are trying to do. So what say you, Donovan?
Well, yeah, going back to that statement, I wouldn't go as far as, like all black men are just going to leave and divest like a lot of these women claim that they're doing, because let's face it, 80% of black men marry black women. That's just facts. And guess where I got those facts from? Not only did Kevin Samuels repeat it, it's also a statistical fact. Okay. So, but yeah. And, Dimitri, I was saying that for years ahead of time. It's one thing to criticize and say something, but, this sisterhood or whatever it is really the bane of the black community. And I don't mean that in a negative. It's okay to be all that sisterhood. But the thing is, where is the outrage when it's absolutely wrong? Okay, a lot of us know that the child support system is absolutely wrong, or we know that these men and women are playing games when it comes to child support. We know both of them are doing it. He's not doing this, she's not doing that. Men are always called out on a constant basis in regards to being men. But when are the sisters going to start calling out them, their fellow sisters when they're not doing right? We never see it. It's always the hyenas. Yes, I said it. Hyenas that want to say and dictate how women should feel. And I think it's long overdue that women who got themselves together and ain't with this BS start speaking out against these hyenas. Because just like in the movie, what movie was that? With the Lion King? How did the hyenas start planning and doing all that in the movie? Because the lions and the other people did not take them to task. It's the same thing, in just real life. And if I really believe if more women, and you're starting to see it, you really are starting to see it. The younger women are starting to get away because these bitter We had a section in the 80s where the women were very, very bitter and very broken, dealing with broken men and all that stuff in the 80s with the drug epidemics and all that other stuff. We understand that they're mad. But the point is that that time is over. That time is over. And the young women are now seeing the future if they keep listening to these broken women who are bitter and upset. We need each other. I could do it alone. No man is an island in the world. My mother always told me that. No man is an island. There's going to come a time where you're going to need that person. So if you keep believing that you can do it your own, ladies, and remember, Demetria, we used to argue about this all the time. Then why do you need child support? Why do you need this? You could do it on your own. When men start holding you guys to the very things that you guys keep saying about yourselves, oh, then it's a problem. Then it's a problem. How dare we make you do what you say that you can do? So we need each other at the end of the day. You know, I'm starting to believe that. And well, I believe that for a long time, but I mean, I'm starting to start putting that on my platform as well, because we're failing, y'all. It's getting bad out there. Black people are homeless everywhere. Houston, whatever. We are the biggest group of the homeless population. We're failing.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But I also, because I hear a lot, and, you know, and y'all know how I feel, and it's not a secret. I get tired of men. I know there's a long pause. I'm tired of men. Got you. I never get tired of men. All right, but I get tired of men trying to put, now I know the Black woman is the mother of civilization. We are, you know, the first teacher. The mother in general is the first teacher to the children and all of that. I get all that. But sometimes I just really get tired of men trying to always put the state of the Black community solely on women. Now, I say that to say, because y'all, and I'm saying y'all, I'm just saying men in general, Black men, saying, oh, if y'all Black women don't get it together, y'all out of here. But do you know, on the other side of that, I hear Black women saying the same thing about y'all. Mm-hmm. And so there's no message that's more true than the other side. But the case in point is we need each other. We are, like, nobody's perfect, right? You are not going to find a perfect man or a perfect woman. So I think we need to concede that fact. The other thing is, as far as, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? It bugs me.
As far as, you know, women co-signing on to the BS.
Oh, wait, no. And forgive me, y'all. My grandfather, you know, who is 89 years old, you know, he's in the hospital, looks like at the end of his life. And so that was a phone call.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so my brain drew a blank, but I'm back. All right, so as far as I keep hearing people say, we as Black women need to hold other Black women accountable. I agree with that. But you can only hold the Black women accountable that you have a rapport with, right? Like today, I left the gym with my daughter and we went to a store. On the way to the store, driving through the parking lot, I saw a sister in a bonnet and pajamas, and she was loud as shit on her phone. Now, and house shoes and the whole nine, right? It was early, so I don't know, she just rolled out of bed or whatever. Now, did I like seeing that? No, because I believe that women or anybody, I don't think anybody should go out of the house in your bedclothes or your bonnet, right? It's embarrassing to me. I just keep it real.
Express yourself.
But did I have the power to walk up to that lady I did not know and say, let me tell you something, sister. Don't you think you should come out the house with some clothes on and maybe your hair and a hat at least that doesn't look like a bonnet, and take it down a notch or two? What do you think she would have said to me?
F off.
And all of that, if at the very least, right? So it's not even that I'm afraid, but I don't have a rapport with that woman. So I say all that to say is, say that to the women that you do have an influence over. The women being your daughters, your nieces, and your good friends, and who are the women that you really can have that conversation with. Like if I had a friend and she wanted to go out of the house in a bonnet and pajamas, I'd be like, nah, sis, you ain't going out the house with me like that. And on the other side of that, once I had a boyfriend, and he's an old Negro too, okay? He thought he was going to sag his pants. And I'm like, if you don't pull your pants up, oh, what? I said, nah, first of all, you're in your late 40s and you're still trying to sag your pants. And I'm like, nah, if you're going out with me, you need to pull your pants up, okay? So I can say that to him. And I will say this, I have come across some other young men. I saw them sagging and I would joke and say, hey, King, pull your pants up. You would look so much better. And then they would laugh and they pull their pants up. And I'd be like, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you do that with people you feel like you can and people you have rapport with. But if we start close to us, then I think this, whatever it is that's going on in the Black community will start to dwindle down if we take accountability in our own homes.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But remember back in the 80s when we were coming up, it was a generation of our parents that came up with this, well, don't say nothing to them, baby. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? Okay, we've tried it the nice way. Okay, we got to stop that because it's just like Kevin Samuels. His message, let's say when he spoke nice, they still came after him. But when he spoke direct, they still came after him. So you can't please everybody every way. But I do believe, this is my opinion, I do believe we've tried that generation of don't say nothing, baby. Just let them be them, let them express themselves or whatever. And it's led us down the road to where we're at today, where we are at each other's throats and we're not preparing our young people for real life. I had a friend just yesterday, her daughter got married. This girl hasn't even reached 30 yet. Okay. And I'm looking at all these other groups that do that. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I went to my neighbor's quinceañera, which is a Sweet 16. When was the last time, Demetra, you went to a Black we call it in the Black community, it was called debutante, right? When was the last time that you went to a debutante thing in regards to your nieces or just friends of yours that have teenage daughters?
Well, I'm from California, so we don't really do debutante balls or anything like that, but I've gone to Sweet 16 parties or, something like that, coming of age type of thing.
Yeah. But in the Black community, when was the last time you've been to one of those? Look at that. That's sad.
It's been a while.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. We're getting away from these things to where we don't, when our kids don't see certain things, it's like, it kills me when kids go, well, I didn't go to the prom. That's a once in a lifetime event. You're only going to get to do that one time. Maybe, I went 3 times, but you know what I mean? You only do it one time in a life. And then it's kind of like walking before you crawl. When you walk before you crawl, there's something missing in your chromosome, okay? Because you got to go through that to, it's a part of the process of life. You want to walk before you crawl, and then you start running and so on and so forth. So when you don't do certain things throughout life that are pivotal, you start missing certain things. Why are these girls, and I'm not blaming the girls, and these young boys, why are they such in a rush to grow up? Why?
Well, I mean, as far as talking to people austere in that I got to be, brute with you, that I'm telling y'all, I never really ever talk about my degrees because to me, in the larger scheme of things, they don't matter, right? I'm a communication major, and I'm going to tell y'all that talking to somebody crazy and hollering and the belittling them, that rarely works. It's a temporary thing. But that person doesn't walk away from you feeling, okay, well, let me get myself together. Donovan, you got a mama, I had a mama. And I thank God. I mean, my mom sometimes she could be like, hey, I need you to, whatever. But the times that we were talked to horribly, did that for one make you feel good? Yeah, it shocks you. You get shocked into doing what you're supposed to be doing, but then after the shock wears off, you're dejected. You're like, that didn't feel good. I didn't like that. And in some cases, you're like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing what you say because I don't like how you talk to me. So I just I know it would behoove us. And I say this a lot on this show, especially us as Black people, to learn how to communicate, understand the communication process. There's a sender, a messenger, and a receiver. If I'm sending a message to you, you're receiving it. Don't sit and receive it to, argue, to accuse, or figure out a way to defend myself. No, listen to what I am saying to you to understand. And as the sender of the message, send something that somebody wants to listen to and that they're going to be able to inculcate so that they get what you're saying. But if I'm like, let me tell you something, mother effer, you don't be talking to me and you this and you ain't this and you ain't that. The first thing you're going to do is shut down your understanding abilities, and you're going to wait for the moment you can strike back and say, oh yeah, such and such. You don't be then. So the message doesn't even get addressed. You know what gets addressed? What gets addressed is the delivery of the message. Now, when I say to you, if I'm saying, mother effer, don't be talking to me like that, I really might not want you to talk to me crazy. But what I did was I put venom on top of venom instead of saying, you know what, hey, Donovan, I just want to let you know the other day when you were kind of, harsh with me. And I just want to tell you, I didn't really enjoy that. I didn't like that. So if you and I are going to have a conversation, I would appreciate that we can have one that is conducive for both of us. That way we're both heard. Now, I said the same thing, but it was how I said it.
Right. Now, with all things being proper, I agree with everything you're saying. But let's face it, in our community, in some parts of our community, I can't say all our community, some parts of our community, we have a certain dialect that we talk. Right now, I'm from Louisiana. Everybody says, Louisiana has a definite dialect down there. Baby, they have a definite dialect. Now, in certain parts of our community, they talk in a lot of acronyms, a lot of F's and F-bombs and this, that. Now, let's face it. You know the party who you're talking to. You can't go to China and speak English and expect them to understand you. So you got to talk in the language that the people understand. So if I'm talking to a wayward young man, and let's say he is from the hood and all he knows is that type of lifestyle, I can't go to him and say, well, hey, little Kenny, whatever. No, I'm gonna say, yo, neck bone, let me talk to you real quick. Let me holler at you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're kind of talking about, talking in a language that people can understand and they're gonna get to. But what I'm saying is, no matter how you talk to them and what dialect you're talking to them in, let's be frank. We can no longer, at this point in the game, beat around the bush. Like, I had a niece recently who called me out of the blue and she was trying to tell me something and she went all the way around until I had to tell her, get to the point, because I had already known what she had called for. But the point was, and she's a young lady, lady, and she didn't know how to communicate to me. Get to the point. Let's be direct. Tell me what it is you need. All this, well, this is that, it doesn't get us nowhere. At this point in the game, I think we tried the niceties and doing all of this stuff and the assumptions. We need to be a little bit more direct and saying, and the reason I say we need to be more direct is because, remember, Sister Soldier, we are at war. We don't have time anymore. And if we want to save ourselves as Black people, we need to be a little bit more direct with ourselves and stop playing games and say what it is. Ladies, when you're dealing with young men, say what it is. I need you to do this, 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 and this. This is what I expect you to do, so that he doesn't do the assumption thing. And men, same thing. And Demetri, you know how I am with women. I let them know what I'm about. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I'm straightforward with it. And yeah, it might not be nice, but it's straightforward. This is me. Let's not waste time here. I mean, do you agree? Not agree?
I mean, yeah, I overall, I agree with you, but I think it's time for us to teach our children differently. Just because we might have been yelled at, cussed out, that don't mean we got to keep teaching that, right? Some point down the line, we have to, communication runs so big in my family. My mama was a communication major. I'm a communication major. My daughter's a communication major, right? So we got to really understand how to do that effectively. And we don't. And so just because and I'm just using this as an example because I was cussed out and holler that all the time, that don't mean I have to do that with my daughter. It means that we have to learn new processes in order to get the message across. Otherwise, we keep turning out more and more people who do not know how to communicate, and we think that the only way to get a message across is to be an asshole, is to be austere, mean, and rude, and with the razor blades and lemon juice with people. No, that's not how it works. Teach people, and specifically your children, how to communicate. And don't forget that communication is really more about listening. It's not just about talking. And so we got the talking part down pat, right? We all know how to talk. We gonna say what we need to say, and we don't have the listening part down well. Most of the time, as y'all heard this over and over again, people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. Well, I'm trying to point out and pick out something that they saying so I can come back and say, no, that ain't right. Instead of saying, well, okay, I heard what you're saying. I understand. If I understand you right, you said this. That is showing that you are actively listening and you are understanding the point, right? So we need to stop teaching that the way we deal with our children, like we're in the store, right? Let's just say, for example, you might see a white lady with her child. And in our community, we laugh about it, right? Because a child might be acting up and she's like, oh, Johnny, don't do that. Sit down, Johnny. But a black woman's like, you better sit your ass down. Will the child do it? I don't know. They might, it's a shocking thing. But somewhere in the middle, we gotta come somewhere in the middle and get the message to our child that I need you to sit down, but I don't need to talk to you like that. But I will concede the point as far as us as sisters. Yeah, when we are raising our children, we do need to find a better way of communicating with our child. Because I've been in Walmart, Kmart, the grocery store, whatever, and I've heard black women, and I'm just telling you my experience. I'm not saying it's all black women, but I have heard black women talk to their children in the most disgusting manner in front of everybody. I was at Walmart one time in the checkout line, minding my black business. And I heard motherfuckers, sit your ass down and blah, blah, blah. Excuse my French. And everybody in my aisle turned and we looked. And she's talking to her child. It couldn't have been no more than 2. And I was like, should I say something? Or will this be my last day on earth if I do? But that's got to stop. Like, we have got to stop doing that. Because for one, you're traumatizing the child and you're making them desensitized, and it's embarrassing.
Well, I agree with that. But unfortunately, in our community, we have those people that recently, it's not really a new term, it's an old term, that are known as hyenas. And, just like in the Lion King, the hyena is a group pack that is led by an alpha female, right? And in some cases, alpha females don't even need a male to produce offspring. So in a pack like that, their main nemesis is the lions, okay? The lions are usually led by an alpha male in the pack. And there's a significant difference of who is dominant between the two groups. In our group, we have a group that recently the name has come back, and we're not trying to bash anybody. I'm just telling you what's out there in the Twitter fear, whatever that social media fear. There is a term now that people are pointing out, people that are hyenas that have an adverse effect to our community. And they're out there. And no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they do not take criticism. They do not take accountability. And this is one of the things Kevin Samuels, Pink Book Lessons, Crimson Cure, sometimes Demetra K point out, that these people don't do that. No matter what, you can't talk against the sisterhood. Recently, Vivica Fox, she's getting a lot of backlash for some of the comments she said in regards to Kevin Samuels because of the term leftover woman, which I explained on your show previously. That is an old Japanese term in the culture of Japan because most women are usually married before they hit 30. And any woman that hasn't been married by that time are considered leftover women. So it wasn't really a derogatory term, but a lot of, I guess, these hyenas took it as a derogatory term. And it really exposed Vivica Fox, because what do you say all the time, Demetra? When a rock is thrown into a crowd, the one that hollers is the one that got hit. And in Vivica Fox's case, that's exactly what happened, because the comments that she made, and you even did a video on it. How is karma for talking about Black women deserve death? How does that happen?
Well, it sounds like, she was a little salty too from something that Kevin said about her when she talked crazy to Ice Cube when, he came on the show and was talking about, the contract with Black America and all of that. And so I think that was really her way of saying, I'm going to get you back. But as I said, I don't like cowards. I don't like people who, do it when the other person has not the ability to respond, because she knows she would have said something about it when Kevin was alive, he would have brought out the razor blades and lemon juice on her ass. That's why she didn't do it. And so now you got all this rah-rah, but he can't respond back to you. And so it's like, Vivica, to me, I think she is one of the, and listen, y'all, can I say this to y'all? Don't let wigs, eyelashes, makeup, and, this sultry way of talking, don't let that fool you into thinking that's a good woman. I don't think Vivica is a good woman. I think she is one of those women who are seen as an authority figure because she auntie Vivica. But
well, she's aged out. She's starting to age out.
That's not even my point. Whether she's aged out or not, my point is she comes dressed up in a pretty package, but she has no value. She's not added value to Black women, right? Because if I had the large platform that she had, I would use it to try to teach Black women to take our rightful places in society, because there was a time, even during and after slavery, white people could not function without the Black woman taking care of their children in their household, in addition to taking care of our own. We were the ones to go to when, we were clean, right? We were clean in everything we did, our appearance, the way we acted, where we talked, to where we raised white people's children, right? But now, not that saying that should be the litmus test of why we should do what we're doing. Forget what they doing, right? Because my grandmothers were domestics, if you will. But the point that I'm making is Black women are so high in value and looked upon as, that's a good teacher. I want Hattie Mae to raise my child, and this, that, and the other, right? Where we need to get back to that. And Vivica should be using her platform to say, ladies, let's act like that. Because no shade to 50 Cent. I like 50 Cent. But not too long ago, a couple years back, she was 50 Cent's boo thing, and she know what 50's about. He's a gangster and all of that. And now he's a, major businessman and a business mogul. But she still said that she would desire to be back with 50 Cent.
He ain't going back to that.
But the point that I'm making is, don't let people who are glossed up and look glamorous fool you into thinking that is the authority figure. Vivica is not the authority figure at all. But as far as this hyena movement, if you will, I think we need to examine, how did the hyena become that? Who's responsible for the hyena?
Well, again, bitter women within our community that didn't get their way.
Why is that woman bitter? Because listen, you know what we're gonna do, and I just want to, because don't like to do, and Donovan, you know me, I don't like to keep throwing stuff out unless we examine it. Okay, we got the hyena, right? Because I've heard a lot of people use that term, and I'm not disagreeing with it, because I do see women who act hyena-like, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How did she get that way? You say that she is raised by bitter women. Mm-hmm. Why is that woman bitter, and is she justified in being that?
No, she's not. And I'm speaking from a man's term. And I'm going to say why. The now movement had nothing to do with Black women. And you had a lot of women that were hoodwinked and believed it, and that they taught it to their daughters. And feminism has made, and this is my opinion, not Demetra's opinion, this is my opinion, has made a lot of women wayward in the fact that I know a lot of women that have doctor titles and they've got it all. They put their career before family and they did all that great stuff, right? They ain't got no man. They ain't got no man. And then you got a guy like Kevin Samuels who puts it out there and says, this is what it is. Here are the facts. Go get a dog and die. You know, guys don't, we really don't care. And, Demetra, I'm a man's man. We don't care about your titles. We don't care about your stuff. Why these women are bitter is the fact that they bought into feminism while the white woman, even though she was out there talking about equality and all this other stuff, she made sure that shepherd pie was on the table for her husband by the time he got home by 5:30. But our women took it to another level as if there was a problem between black men and black women. There's a not a fundamental problem. Yes, every group has a problem in communications and things like that, but not to the level, girl, you don't need no man. I don't know any other group of women that teach their daughters that they don't need no man and they don't need this, they don't need that. Again, I have another friend that her daughter just got married, wasn't even 30 years old. The girl went to college. I mean, she did everything that our black feminists want to do, but she got the husband while she was young. A lot of our women are hitting the wall and they're bitter for the simple fact that they bought into feminism. That's what I think.
So I'm going to say this, and I'm not, y'all can go check my record. I'm not one of those people who going to lie to kick it or try to change up in the middle of the stream. That's the one thing that I disagreed with Kevin about. Now, I agree with him about a lot of things he said, but I did not like that he didn't dig deep, just like you didn't dig deep. Y'all always want to start at feminism, but y'all know good and hell goddamn well that the black man and black woman have been separated since they put our asses on that ship in slavery. That black woman was put above that black man to usurp him at every turn. And y'all keep bringing up this Willie Lynch letter, which has been debunked, by the way, but the premise of the letter is still the same. And that's the black woman was put above the black man to rule over him, to take his manhood, right?
Right.
To feminize him. Feminize him. That was since slavery. So yeah, after slavery, the black man and black woman were together more than at any other time in history after slavery, during the Jim Crow, up until the feminist movement. So y'all keep citing this feminist movement as though the feminism of white women came along and then black women, all black women, because my mama and daddy were married during the feminism movement. And I never once heard my mama tell my daddy, some white woman told me, you ain't shit. I never heard my mama say that, and my grandmother or none of the women around me. So y'all like to keep using feminism as the driving force of taking black men and black women apart. It is a lie, and y'all need to quit telling that and put some more historical context to it. Let me finish.
No, go ahead.
Because we also know that there was an effort, if you will, to do that to black men and women. You had the FBI, you had COINTELPRO, you had Joe Biden, who is the author of every major and minor crime bill since 1976. We have the CIA admitting that they put drugs into the black community to dilapidate that of the black community. And so when y'all talk about black women leaving that black man for feminism and a welfare check, and I always say this, what woman in her right mind is going to leave her good black man with a decent job for a funky $400 check to take care of her and some kids and some housing? And so who's going to do that? So I think we need to get comfortable. If we're going to speak on this, we need to speak on it with history right in the conversation, because when you bring up feminism, not just you, but all these other men out there want to blame feminism for what happened to black people, you don't tell the truth. You place that on the backs of black women by themselves.
Wait. But you asked me, what do I think? That is what I think. And I didn't say feminism is the cause. I agree with everything you said up until the point. But the point is, what I'm saying, in the modern age, in 1970, that's when the thing really broke up and it took off. That's what I'm saying. And you had a group of women that were told, go get your own, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. That's what I'm saying. And here's my thing. Fellas, do not let these women bully you into how you think as a man. We're thinking as men. I don't give a damn how women feel. I'm just telling you, as a man, this is how I see it and what things are going about. I was asked, when do I think it happened? A major catalyst of that happened in the 1970s, where you had a whole generation of women that were taught, get your own, do your own thing. You don't need no man. Again, you did not point out, Demetra, where another group of women who are in the same age groups and the same thing, because it isn't about feminism. These same women, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, they ain't losing their men. 70% of them are married. 70% of Black women aren't married. Blah, blah, blah. We could go with the facts all day long. The point is, you ask me what I think, that's what I think, period.
How you follow it? So that's what you think, or is that what you know?
That's what I think. You asked me what I thought, not how I feel, what I thought.
Well, I'm in a nice, loving way telling you that is not correct. What happened before the feminist movement?
No, I told you I agree with all of that.
I'm asking you, what happened before the feminist movement?
The civil rights movement.
Right. And who was that about? Oh, more than
that was about Black people.
Black people. So when we got civil rights, I call it the false idea of civil rights.
Sure.
When we got that, we did what? We left our Black everything. We left the Black neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
We left our Black schools. We left our Black
agree.
jobs.
We agree. Right.
So once we left our Blackness, our Black utopia, I know it wasn't that, but I'm just using that for, we left our Black utopia to go be with them. Our stuff dilapidated.
Correct.
That also included what? The false idea of I could go be with somebody else's woman, because don't forget, since slavery, we were taught that the white man was better than the Black man, and the white woman was better than the Black woman.
And we still think that today.
And so because I study feminism, both movements, and so I just think it's lazy, and I'm not just saying you, but I think it's lazy for us to continue to spew those talking points that feminism is why the Black family has dilapidated. It's lazy, and I think it is. That's my opinion. I think it's lazy that we don't have more of a well-rounded conversation, so we'll understand. Because when I hear you say feminism is why,
and that's all you heard. That's all you heard. I said that I agreed with everything that you said.
When I hear, can you let me finish? Yeah. When I hear you say feminism that we bought in, because that was your words exactly. I wrote it down.
And that's all you hear. It's feminism. The minute you heard feminism, you got triggered.
No. That's not how that works, brother. Because I'm a lot smarter than that. Okay, you ain't talking to the one of them back there who don't know what I know. Okay, I heard you say bought into feminism. That's what we as Black women did. Right.
Right. And that's what I thought. Right.
Do you know how many Black women bought into feminism?
From the count that I'm understanding, 7,348,000.
Right, which is bullshit. Okay. Because
you asked me, those are the numbers.
Well, even so, that means back then that was almost all Black women, because how many were we in population in the 70s, in the 60s?
In the 60s, we were probably about 23 million.
Correct. So you deduce that down. So
that's almost half.
Almost. Right. But when I hear you say that we bought in, all Black women didn't buy into feminism.
Well,
my mom was MGT of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
My dad was a Muslim.
We got to remember, our generation, most of our parents were married back in that generation.
Right. So I guess where I'm bringing all that up is to say it's everybody's fault. It's the Black man and the Black woman's fault, in addition to institutional and systemic racism, as to why we are the way we are. And unfortunately, these messengers like your Dennis Sperlings and your Tanya TKOs and your Cynthia G's and your Pink Book Lesson, because I know that's your girl, but she panders a lot too. I ain't gonna call her a pick-me because I don't like that term. But
she's already been picked.
Huh?
She's already been picked.
Whatever.
Pick me. Yeah.
Whatever. But she panders a lot to that of the Black male population. And talking about Black women instead of using her platform to say, hey, sisters, listen up. This is what we need to be doing instead of appeasing the talking points out there about Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's everybody's fault. It's the Black man, it's a Black woman, and we need to stop being divided by these fools who are doing it for a check.
Yes, and I agree with you. Now, here's one thing that I will say, and this is what we're talking about. We're having a conversation. We can't bully other people for the way that they feel, because without conversation, there's no understanding. So your facts that come out, I might agree with them, I might not, and I might be enlightened by that. But at the same time, my conversation, if you get something out of it, you get something out of it. You know, let's face it, we're not going to change a person's opinion overnight. Some people you do, some people you don't. But one thing I've noticed, that when men start speaking a man's truth or whatever it is, or opinion, however you want to call it, women get triggered. The fact of the matter is, we do not think like women. That's just a fact. Men do not think like women. The men that do think like women are usually those guys that were raised by women in general. You know what I mean? To be a little bit more crazy. Can I say that? Crazy?
What does a man think like?
Delusional. To be more delusional.
What does a man think like?
Whatever a man thinks like, it's different than a woman.
What is it?
It's different than a woman.
A man. What does a man think like?
It's just different than a woman. Like I said.
Can you name me one example?
Yeah, I'll give you one example. Like a woman thinks that she's the only viable parent. A man doesn't think that way. A woman thinks in general, she's the only one that could raise the child. That's not true. That's not true. Women think more off emotion. And let's just face it. Think about it. When you hear women talk, not you, but a lot of women talk, especially hyenas, and you ask them something, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, well, I feel. Men are logical. Most men go off of logic and what is.
Y'all think y'all logical. Y'all think, just like a lot of us think that we are logical, but I think we really need to ask ourselves, because I hear that argument a lot, all women are emotional, which is, I would say overall it's true. We are more on the emotional side because by nature we are supposed to be the nurturing part, person or whatever. But I hear that men are more logical. Well, if men are more logical, and let's just deduce it down to Black people. Sure. If Black men are more logical, why aren't we better off? Why aren't y'all taking the lead in figuring things out? Because y'all complain a lot about the Black woman, usurping y'all authority. And I agree with that. I do agree that, because somebody made this comment on a show that I did Sunday, and I agree with it 100%, that the Black community is more matriarchal than anything. Yeah. But we know that has been by design, right?
Right.
But y'all claim to be so logical. Why aren't we better off? Why are we better off as a people if you are so logical? Because if you are logical in your thinking, then that means that there should be more money coming in. There should be a whole lot of other things that help stabilize the Black community if Black men are more logical than that of the Black woman.
Well, okay, like we've already said, there's a lot of issues to that. When the civil rights movement ended, what was the first thing that you said about access? Now the Black man can go get a woman. He has more options. He does all this other stuff. We should be a little bit farther than where we're at. Martin Luther King and all the real leaders got killed. What did their lieutenants do? Enrich themselves. So it became more of and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying this is what happened. It became more of, forget leading. I'm just going to grift and take care of me and my own. And thus you have men that they don't want to lead. They just don't lead in the community because they're afraid to get killed. They're afraid to get weaponized, whatever. I say this all the time. I used to tell my mom this all the time. Not that I didn't like her helping me. I want to figure it out first before I ask you for help. If I don't come to you to help, let me figure it out. You have a lot of young men that are catered to and nurtured by their moms, and they're nurtured so much so that they're told to stand down when they should be standing up in the community. And the father goes right along with it.
Where they daddy at?
No, I'm just saying the father, even if the fathers are there, a lot of the fathers go right along with it.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all my story as to growing up with my mom and my dad. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing, especially when it came to my brother, is when my daddy was disciplining my brother, you know what my mom did?
Left.
Not a goddamn thing.
Right.
You know why? Because she knew that was my father instilling manhood into my brother, and she knew the last thing she was gonna do is say, "Oh, honey, Walter, don't you think you too hard on that boy?" Yeah, she knew, and I'm gonna say this. She knew her place. She knew that it was not her place to tell my daddy how to raise, and I'm gonna say his son. Because when my daddy was disciplining my brother, that was his son at the moment.
Right.
And to this day, my brother actually, rather, attests to the fact that my dad is the reason that he is the way he is because of my dad. And my dad wasn't always hard on my brother, but my dad made sure that he was going to act accordingly. He was going to be upstanding, and he was going to know how to do for self. And more than anything, he was going to be obedient. So that's why I asked, where are the fathers? And you're saying that there's a lot. That's true. There's a lot of fathers who are in the home who won't say nothing. The mom, is the big hen in the house, and you can't tell her nothing. Well, I always tell y'all this is men. Don't get with a woman like that. Don't get with a woman where you're going to be fighting with her, verbally about how the household goes, because if she knew her place, and yes, I said it, she knows that you are the one that's making the rules in the house, and she goes accordingly. And any woman worth her weight really knows she the boss. It's all how you put it out there. And he'll say, yes, dear, I think we do need a new car. You right. I don't want you riding around in no bucket with the air conditioning ain't working. Yeah, baby, let's go and get you a new car. But you ain't going to tell that man, you better buy me a new car. What kind of man that you got your woman? Honey, it's hot. It's, summer's coming, and, I don't like sweating and all of that. So you think,
honey, I got a surprise for you in the bedroom there. So could you just
whatever you need to do.
Right.
A woman knows that she is the boss when it comes down to it, but you don't take that from him. You let the man give it to you.
Right. And here's another thing that I want to say in regards to women who henpeck or hen raise over their male sons. When that father is disciplining, it doesn't have to be the father, if it's a stepfather, that male role model is doing that. He's preparing that young man for the real world, not this secured, protective world that you've created for him, what he's going to encounter out there in the real world and how to react and how to deal with it as a man, not as a woman, not as a man. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. So again, we need each other because everybody plays a role in that. But in regards to men and women and how we think, yes, I'm coming to it from what I think is a man perspective. Demetra's coming into it from what a woman's perspective is. But what are we picking from each other? Are we listening? Are we actually listening to each other and getting the ideas from each other and saying, okay, what is he really saying? You might not like my delivery, like Kevin Samuels, but what is Donovan really saying? Now, I agreed with everything that you said up to feminism, whatever. I mean, it's a whole conglomerate of the problems. It goes way back to slavery. I agree with that. But you must also agree, I hope you would agree, that there's been a whole generation of women in our group during the 80s crack epidemic and all the gang stuff and all that stuff like that have been hurt by failed men in regards to relationships and, not being there to raise the kids and being responsible and stuff like that. And all of that propagated from the civil rights movement, the Now movement. Not saying that the Now movement was the catalyst, but in the 70s, free love. Who was doing all that? That was our parents' generation. Free love. Oh, I can get a white woman, no problem. Oh, I can go to Walmart. I can drink in the same restaurants. I have access. All of that. Free drugs all over the place. Look at now. When we were growing up, you never thought marijuana would be something that is like casual now. No big deal. And it is.
Well, I guess. I always thought marijuana was casual back then too, but
yeah. But to legalize it and just do these things, you know what I mean?
Right. And so,
where drug use is so prevalent now, it's just so prevalent. And then when white people use the drugs, unlike the blacks and the browns and everybody else, it's an epidemic when the white person uses it, but when the black people use it, oh, well, hey, we'll just flood their community and don't give them no help, and we'll just lock them up for using it. It's just sad.
Well, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you want a better black woman, you must become a better black man. Period. So we can blame the black woman for all the ills of society, the children are wayward, and why the black man wants to
no, everybody's involved. Everybody.
Why the black man wants to run off with a different woman and all that other stuff. But black men, y'all got to pull yourselves up too. And when you pull yourself up, you're going to pull the black woman with you. And that's exactly. That's the way it is. And I don't care what, and that's why I say I don't like to follow really a whole lot of these people. Because as I said in my post here, let me add it to the stream, where I said that at the end, y'all are no better than the degenerate black men and black women y'all talk about. Y'all ain't no better. You can't call no hierarchy on the hyenas and the dusties. That's what y'all call, not my words, y'all. You can't call rank on them when you're running through our community with such destruction, trying to break apart the black man and the black woman because you got low self-esteem, or you been with somebody who didn't treat you right. That you ain't no better. You, in fact, you worse off, because at least that hyena and that dusty, y'all words, not mine, at least they contain their madness to their people and themselves immediately. Y'all get on these platforms and pander to people who don't have the critical thinking skills that they should, and say, you know what? While they might have some good points, I love my black woman. I love my black man. And I know we ain't going nowhere in society unless we stick together. Y'all ain't no better. Y'all worse, because y'all are doing the bidding of white supremacy. And from the original talking points that was made since we were brought over here on those slave ships, and that was to keep the black man and the black woman separate. And y'all are just continuing to the point where white people don't even have to do it anymore, because y'all dumb, slow Negroes have signed up to do it for them, and they pay you handsomely to do it. But at the end of the day, what is it going to cost you but your soul and your reputation to sell out the black woman if you're a black man, and to sell out the black man if you're a black woman? What did you gain from it, Judas? 30 pieces of silver, a YouTube check, something from Instagram? What did you gain from it? Did you help your people elevate, as Marcus Garvey said, you mighty nation, accomplish what you will? Did you do any of that? Or did you run to the bank with you being lower than the hyenas and the dusties?
Amen. Now, let me ask you this, Demetra. If we're going to solve this problem, to be man and woman, are you willing to take your spot as the vice president to the man's president?
What the hell does that mean?
That's what I said.
Am I willing to take my spot as the vice president to the man's president?
Yes.
What do tell?
To the man's leadership. How many women in the modern age right now are willing to play their position as it was written to a man's leadership right now?
Anybody, you can ask anybody. I don't have a problem with that. I love to be able to submit to my man. It is my pleasure.
Submit? Oh no, girl. Now we ain't submitting.
I said submit. I said it. Submit. It is my pleasure to submit to my man. There's nothing more pleasurable than knowing that I am aiding in the happiness enhancement, if you will, because I want him to already be happy. There's nothing more pleasurable for me to know that when he comes home, he has something good to eat. The house is clean. I'm, cute and, nice to him. And
that's a slave. You ain't no slave, girl.
Then hey, massa. I don't have a problem calling my man massa. See, I'm not on that.
A lot of them girls don't have a problem calling their man daddy either.
Well, I don't know about that. But I don't have a problem with thinking as my man as the master, as long as he's treating me right. That it's,
Correct.
It's a well-balanced relationship. I don't have a problem saying, okay, honey, if that's what you think, then so be it. I don't have a problem with that. But what I think y'all need to understand is y'all also need to work on your end in being a man that a woman can say that to. Because when I hear a lot of these men out there in what y'all call the manosphere say that, I hear y'all want a blow-up doll. You want a robot. Yes, sir. Okay. Back to the corner.
That's all good and great, when you're young and stuff, but when you're serious about getting properties and living a great life, a blow-up doll ain't gonna work.
Yeah, but that's what y'all need to do on your end, is teach these men, if you want her to, be submissive to you, be a man she could submit to. But I'm not saying this about all men. I'm not saying this at all, but you can't be lagging on your end, barely bringing in some, a check, and, not doing your job around the house, making sure I'm able to bow down to you, if you will. You can't be half-assing and then expect for me to just, oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, honey. No. Because a queen who is really that, I ain't talking about these women running around calling themselves queen, because my dear brother Phil, he made a good point, and I tell people this all the time. Like when black women run around talking about, oh, well, they say we the most disrespected and unprotected. Like Phil said, Malcolm wasn't talking about those women. Those women back then wasn't running around twerking and half naked and doing the stuff these women doing. So he wasn't talking about those women. Okay. So I think we all need to examine the role that we play in the degeneracy of our community and go work on that. Become a better person. And one thing I will concede that Kevin said a lot is get therapy. Get therapy. Not just the black woman. The black man needs healing too. Because we got a lot of stuff we got to unload. And what we do is we unfairly unload it onto each other. It said, I'm going to unload it into the ocean or wherever it goes, and it washes away forever, and we can start over.
Well, I'm going to say this. For us to survive, I'm going to say it. Be ready. What am I going to say, Demetra? For us to survive as a people, because we are failing. 9 years from now, we will have no political power. Our votes won't matter.
We ain't got political power now.
Right, exactly. 15 years from now, we won't have any wealth. So what am I about to say, Demetra? What do we need to do? Number one, let's take the first step. What's the first thing we need to do? I'm going to tell you. Black men, go get your family. Get back into your family and lead your family. If you don't go back and you don't take care of the responsibilities that has been put upon your shoulders, we surely will not make it.
Period. And that's not to say that the black woman don't have anything to work on. We do. Black women, we're so far away from home base is ridiculous. When I line that up of the black woman today, not all, but some of the black women y'all talking about, to that of the black woman of yesterday. When I say yesterday, I do mean like my grandmama and my mama. They are so far apart. Were my mom and my grandmother perfect? No, they weren't. But at least you didn't know that.
Right.
You didn't see my grandmama outside in her bonnet and her panties.
She wasn't at the VFW club every Friday.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't know what my grandmama had going on up under her clothes because she didn't show you that. You didn't know my mama had up under her clothes because she didn't show you that. You didn't know that your mama and your grandmama wasn't perfect until they told you. I remember having conversations with my mama as an adult, and I'm like, word? Oh, I ain't know that. You know why I didn't know that until then? Because I wasn't supposed to. These
I got a quick thing.
Nowadays, they see their mama out there doing the most. Some of these little girls, I'm talking about 2 and 3 years old, mimic the ill behavior of their mommy. Why are you teaching your children that?
And what man wants to be around something like that? But
where is that little girl daddy to yank a knot in her mom and say, you will not teach my daughter that. Right. You will not have my daughter out here with these little bitty shorts on and these little half tops. You will not do that. And if you think that you're going to do that, I will take you to the white man and I'll get as much custody as I can to make sure my little girl grows up a decent human being.
Right. And I know we got to go, but real quick, why do you guys think Kim Kardashian is so upset about that second or third or fourth sex tape that she doesn't want to get out? You want to know why? Because she's a mom now and she realizes that her kids can pull that tape up and see mama busting it out. And now that she's older, now she has regret and she's willing to spend all kinds of money so that tape isn't released. So ladies out there, and dudes that are out there doing these OnlyFans and stuff. Hey, right now it's all fun and games. But when you a grandmama and so on, so forth later on, your kid's going to look at you sideways when you're trying to tell them to do the right thing. And they're looking at you doing something that isn't detrimental to or conducive to the message that you're trying to tell them now.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we all we got, baby. We all we got. And I tell you all the time, I'm gonna die with a black man. Period. I'm a ride and I'm gonna die because I'm from the West Coast. Ride or die. I'm gonna ride or die with a black man. Okay, I'm gonna ride or die with one. I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off and all of that. I don't even think about being with another man other than a black man.
Wow. Well, I got some options. So I can't really say that for myself.
Yeah,
I got some. No, I'm messing with you.
I'm just saying for me, we ain't perfect, but shit, we all we got.
Yeah, all we got.
So I had people ask me what, to start speaking out more against, and I'm gonna call their names. I don't watch them. I've seen a little bit of the content, but you see these tiny TKOs, and now I guess Dennis Sperling, I guess his name is. I think he's trying to take up the mantle.
And who's that guy, Jackson? He started coming back.
All these other cats out there, they're like vultures, just like I said too. I watch Kevin Samuels stuff to some degree, and I don't know. To me, I just get the vision that he's shaking his head like, damn, y'all just but one thing I would say about Kevin, as much of a douchebag as I think he could be, toward the end, I think his message was starting to come a little bit more balanced. I think I would say, but at least when he did it and he was being a douchebag, he took a little more mastery of what he was trying to say by outlining it, whether it was data that might have been skewed or whatever. At least he tried to do that. He was lining it up. He wasn't just out there, y'all black women ain't shit. Y'all. At least he could try to tell you why he thought that. But these people now, they just running away with his message, and it's just like, that's why I said I just see him shaking his head like that. That's not what I was trying to do.
But watching his show though, I really watched the women really prove his points. You know what I mean? If you watch the show, a lot of the women proved his point. And I'm not trying to make fun of him, because a lot of them called because they wanted help and wanted his opinion and stuff like that. But he would just let them talk, and it would just prove the point of what he was saying,
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of his shtick, but again, regardless of what we like that he said about those women did not have to call in. They called in on their own free will. They knew what they were signing up for. They knew, right? They knew the razor blades and lemon juice was on deck. They knew it. So what can you do about somebody who goes into all of that, right? What can you do? Somebody who's going into the slaughter and they know what's going to happen behind the doors, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, again, black men and women need each other. As Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. As Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that if you want a better black woman, you need to become a better black man. Amen. And as Brother Phil said, in regards to that of Malcolm X, he was not talking about the women of today. He was talking about the women back then who were respectable, who had some sense, who put on some clothes, who were, knew how to raise a family. That's what he was talking about. So we need to get that woman back. That woman needs to come back. And I just really feel like when we do those things, we as black men and women will come together and accomplish what we were put on this earth to do. And that is be great. So anyway, y'all, we love and appreciate y'all for being here. For more insightful commentary, please, if you haven't already, subscribed to this channel, like this video, think about becoming a member. We would love to have you here. We will be back here. I think we'll be back here tomorrow. I know that Kevin Samuels' homegoing service is tomorrow. I don't know if we'll get what do you call it? What did you call it?
Live feed.
No, what I'm saying is co-opted or what?
Yeah.
I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because his service is going on, I don't want to, try to go live if it's still going on.
Yeah, a lot of your followers might be trying to watch that.
I want to give people an opportunity to do that. I don't need to do that. But if it goes off right around the time that we come on, which is 5 p.m. Central Time, we'll come on and we'll discuss maybe what we watched or whatever the case is. But anyway, y'all have a great day, and if you would donate to the channel, we love and appreciate you. There's ways to donate here at the bottom. Again, we will see y'all later. Peace.